Well, Addie gets her way again. I did not have a great day today, but I knew that today was going to be challenging, right? I thought that I was going to race Maury hard, but we'll talk about him in a minute. Aunt Sarah, Amy called, said, geez, I was surprised that a couple of fillies went by her down the lane. I said, I was too, honey, but she's been in 2-3, 2-4. I really thought she trotted in 58 today, and they just went a little bit quicker. She did trot in 58 today. 58 and 4, 58 and 3, 30 seconds on the end of it. You can't really ask that much more from her. I mean, you can ask it, you can want it, but to get it is not the same thing. So I wasn't disappointed with Aunt Sarah. She left the gate well. She followed perfectly. Fizzled out a little bit when push came to shove. But there is some stuff to work on. I know her knees are still hurting her a little bit. I still notice, and you know, she comes on the track a little off left hind. She's done that since the first day we ever put a harness on her back. No different, no better, no worse. So it's a little surprising, but at the same time, in the mile she was fine. If anything, running in a little bit in the last turn. So probably what I'm seeing is her loading a little bit of weight from her knees that we can work on, and her absorbing as much as she could behind. Maybe that tiny little hike left hind is a little bit accentuated because she is loading weight. But as I said in the mile, if you watched her, I don't think you'd be able to tell. I thought she raced well. If I'm going to be completely truthful, she let me down a little bit, yes, but when I revisit that and look at all that she's done, when she's done it, the timeline in which she's done it, I think my expectations might have been a little bit high. She's going to do very well in the Buckeye Series, so I'm not that worried about it. And I know a lot of you have heard me say over the last couple of months, I think this is a Sire Stake filly. I think she is, and she may very well get there. But to put her right in the Sire Stakes her first start would be unfair to her. That would be doubling down on my expectations that were maybe unfair to the filly, whereas what she really needs is to win the Buckeye, find some fillies that she can and likely will pass, and do so. And that's exactly what we're going to do with Aunt Sarah. Now, I told everybody, Captain Doolittle, every week he get a little bit better. 2-2 his first qualifier, 2-1, now 2 minutes flat today, and as Marcia said, he was the only 2-year-old in the race, which is correct. So it was a little hard for him. I'll tell you what he did do. He made an error-free run. Never put a step in. Never got out of gear. I'm almost to the point now we wear that little go straight on him left front. I'm almost to the point where we're just going to take that off. He was trotting good. It's hard to be, it's hard to be blown away with a horse that is wide open the whole way and trots in 2 minutes. But I told you guys 3-4 weeks ago, every start you'd see him get better. And his first grassroots, his first Stallion Series, which is on the 12th, which is on, 9 days. We're going to have another training mile into him. In 9 days, you're going to see him. I'm predicting it. You're going to see him trotting 58. That's 58 and 4 is still 58. That's my prediction. And I think he will. I think he will get there. So, Captain Doolittle, threw down a 6th in an aged maiden event. Aunt Sarah throws down a 5th. Now we're going into Memento Mori. I told everybody I wanted to race him hard, but when I scored him down, he was quiet. And I was just saying to Marcia, when Maury is frustrated because he's interfering, he gets very hot. Right, you saw him before he made that break on me without the hobbles on his last start 3-4 starts ago. He was wild in the 2-hole. He was hard to contain coming to the half because he's interfering. He's very frustrated. And the horse that I saw today was very quiet, very subdued, because I think he also was having a good race and was probably a little worried about interfering. But halfway down the lane, he dug back in and he was trying to come to those horses. Now, again, not the mile I predicted where he was going to just overpower everybody and drive off a winner. Yeah, I would have loved to see that. I would have. But I was happily surprised to see a horse that was very quiet, very content. Wasn't hot as hell at the gate. Didn't have to contain him at the gate. Drove through the inside. Let Ronnie go, because truthfully, Maury doesn't do his best work on the front. So I told Ronnie, just keep trucking, which he did. I followed him. I wanted to get the best run in the turn I could at him, because that's when Maury does his best trotting, is in the turns. Sounds silly because he interferes, but that's where he trots his best. So I kind of snuck out as early as I could, and I got a fair and square run at Ronnie's horse, and I did not get by him. The other horse that's been racing good, Kill a Word, beat me at the wire. Mike beat me up the inside. I didn't want in the passing lane anyway. So there's no second guessing. I thought everything went well, just not as well as we wanted. I will say this, and I just said it to Marsha a few minutes ago. That was his best start as a 3-year-old. That's my 2 cents. That mile and the way he did it so quietly and so professionally, that was his best mile, and that is the type of race he can start to rebound off of. Now everybody can tell you, I said, oh, there's Anthony trying to shine everybody on and tell you how good Maury was when he wasn't. Take what you want from the race. We were all in this. We all see Maury race. We saw the horse he was last year. We see the horse he is so far this year. You can take whatever you want from that. I'm just giving you a look at where I am with Memento Mori. Disregard it if you want completely. That's up to you. But when I look at Memento Mori, I saw a horse that was confident, cocky, and overpowering everybody as much as he could last year. Scotty drove him good and put him in a great place on that day when it was hot, and Aki ran the half and he snuck out, and he was cocky. He was a cocky young horse. And now he spent his sophomore season training down, hitting himself, interfering a little bit, probably trying to decide whether he really wanted to be a racehorse as a 3-year-old. Got to the track, he was good, but he still wasn't Maury. Won that non-winners at 2 but 3 or 2 but 4, whatever it was. Won that race in 57, 27 and 4 and looked strong, but was still interfering. Today was the first time in a long time that Maury didn't sound like a drum set when he went in behind the gate. And I think if you watch the race closely, what you'll see is him, maybe for the first time in a while, decide that he wasn't interfering and that he was going to race hard. He never let up. He never got tired. He never backed down. He just got beat fair and square today. But as I tell you all the time, to put that top end race muscle on, to have that experience, you have to be in those races. And although this wasn't a stake race, and those weren't stake horses for the most part, it was a competitive field. And it is somewhere a staging point for maybe a resurgence from Memento Mori. I thought that I would have to rev him up and have him on his toes and have him ready to do battle today. Quite the opposite. He was quiet, he was reserved, he was subdued, but he did his work well, and he did it comfortably. And I don't know the last time I saw Memento Mori do any work comfortably. Just because he does interfere. I think I have to turn in this lane. Do I not? I don't think that's a... No, I'm not turning, so you're going to have to just give me a little room. No, you're just going to fill that hole on me? Okay, Wilbur, no problem. Go ahead. No, I'll get in behind you. Tough town. Well, no, that wasn't for me. Somebody cut him off behind. I think it's important to know that loud horn you just heard was not placed towards me, but the driver behind me from the giant truck behind him.
Wow.
Just letting you know. Anyway, I believe that is what I felt was a fair amount of, I guess, scratching the surface, somewhat disappointment over the last 24 hours. That's how I believe I felt it was coming. But really, when I look at the horses and what they did, should I be disappointed? Maybe I should be disappointed in myself for expecting more, right? A 2-year-old filly making her first lifetime start made a break in Pretty Eyes and Lies. A 3-year-old filly got jammed up and made a break with Melisandre. Don't Ask Again raced just about as good as she could. Jerry's Girl got beat fair and square by Aki Svanstedt. Pretty sure I'm not the first person to say that phrase. Jolene Hall raced out of her skin and exceeded my expectations. Rico Tubbs did well. He did well. And I think we can improve Rico Tubbs. From what I saw yesterday mechanically, he can be improved. And Nassau, I was mad. Mad at myself a little bit. Mad because I didn't see that coming. Once bitten, twice shy. That won't happen next week. Just as I say that, it happens probably. But I don't think it will. 1 sec, sweetie. Aunt Sarah, 58 and 4, 30 and 1 in the end of it. That's a fair mile. Captain Doolittle did all he could. I told you inch by inch he's going to get better every week, and he has. Memento Mori, take from what I just said what you want. Dismiss it. Say you don't believe me. You do what you want with the information I just gave you with Memento Mori. I was happy with this race, and I'm a little more optimistic now as we head into tonight. Aunt Lily is going to be raced conservatively. Emerald Tom, likely the same. As King Kaufman is a good horseman, probably doesn't want to put him on the run. we'll see. I see my phone is crashing, so I will let you go. Take care. Have a great evening.